Hi friends, it's Liz here at Liz the Paper Project. So today I have the tutorial on how to make this really cute album. I guess it's like a folio style album. The size is 5 by 7 when it's finished, and I absolutely love how it came out. So I want to say thank you so much for your comments on my video when I shared this and my other tutorial with the flip out card. Oh my gosh, that card was so fun to make, and I'm definitely going to be making more. As always, if you make any, leave a comment below or tag me on Instagram. And also you can comment on my blog, which I will also link below, because I really love to see what you make when I share my tutorials. So thank you for that. If you're new to my channel, thank you so much for joining me today. I love to make things with paper, and I do a lot of tutorials, craft with me videos, etc. So if you're interested in that stuff, don't forget to subscribe. For my current subscribers, thank you so much for joining me today again. So this project is really fun, and as I always say, you can change it to fit your style. I will be showing you how to make this on just plain scrapbook paper, but if you wanted to go ahead and make one with your scrapbook paper, that would be great as well, because then you don't have to do any of the additional decorating the pages, because they'll already have some sort of design. But I always like to say, when you're starting something from scratch, make a sample one so that you're not kind of stuck with using your favorite paper on that first try, and then something gets messed up and then it doesn't work. So maybe make a sample one like I'm going to show you. You are going to be using 5 sheets of 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper for this project. And again, it's because I'm making a sample one, like the one I'm going to show you here. So we'll be making this one today. I'll show you how to make all the little, flips and all the little pieces that I shared with you before in the previous video. If you wanted to see the whole video, I will link that below as well, where I showed you the full flip through of this one. And so I also have a quick tip for you at the end of the video. Right now that I'm remembering, I have to mention that to you because I didn't show it as I was doing the tutorial. So stay tuned to the end for that tip. If you enjoy this tutorial, please remember to leave a thumbs up. It really helps me and my channel. Also, I appreciate your support in my shop, and don't forget to check out my blog. I have set it up for those of you that have mentioned many times that you don't have social media. So I've set up my blog for you so that you can still follow my progress and my little sneak peeks at projects that I'm working on, etc. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so this is what we are going to be making. This album with flip out little pockets and tuck spots here and there. I do have the video showing you the full flip through of this one and where all the little secret pockets and everything are, as well as that video I mentioned with the pop out card that I recently made. That tutorial is basically on that same video. So I will link that below if you haven't seen it. So to get started, you will need, as I mentioned before, 5 sheets. I'm using 8.5 by 11 sheets of cardstock because that's what I have on hand, and that's how I like to make my samples. So you'll get your first one, and we're going to be cutting it to size so that it gives you kind of like your base, okay? So this is what I've cut it down to. Going to cut your first sheet down to 7 inches by 11 inches. And you can see here it's 7 by 11, and then you're going to score it at 2.5 inches, and then you're going to score it at 3 inches, and then you're going to flip it over and you do the same score lines again. So 2.5 inches and then 3 inches. And this is where we're making our base for our album. So make sure that you score all your lines, or that you fold all your lines where they are supposed to be, and use your bone folder if you have one to make sure that you have nice and crisp lines. What I love about this project is that by making these different little folds, you're making these kind of spines for your project, And then this will give you lots of room to work with when you're adding your embellishments and all the different pieces that you'll be adding to your pages. And you can see here we've got our nice base page. I'm making sure that I have nice crisp lines with all my folds. And then I've got some really nice spines to work with, as you can see here. So this is your base page, and now we're going to move to our second part of the project. So you're going to need 2 pieces of 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper again, and that's just because that's what I'm using, you know, to cut my strips from. And then you're going to cut it at 6 3/4 by 10 1/4 inches, and you're going to do that to both. You are then going to start scoring at 2 1/2 inches, and then at 2 3/4 inches. And then the next score line is at 7 3/4. And you're going to do that to the other sheet as well. So you've got 2 sheets that are 6 3/4 inches by 10 1/4 inches, and you're scoring at 2 1/2 inches, at 2 3/4 inches, and then at 7 3/4 inches. And again, make sure that you fold at your score lines and that you have nice crisp lines to work with. Here I'm just kind of folding it at the fold here, and then I'll make sure that I've got my crisp lines. So you can see one side looks like it's got a little bit of a spine, and then the other side is flat. So you can kind of see the difference. And you're going to have 2 like this. So again, we're folding at the score lines, and we're making sure that we have nice crisp score lines while we're doing this. Remember to check out my playlist for tutorials. I think I have over 51 tutorials now on my channel. If you're interested in any more projects, I will link that playlist below as well, so that you know, you can make a lot more projects. I have cards, albums, journals, beginner junk journal ideas, etc. Okay, so you see here now we've got 2 pieces with a spine on each side, and then a flat piece for both of them. Okay, so now we grab our next sheet of paper. Okay, so our next sheet is 6 3/4 inches by 10 inches, and you're going to make 2 score lines on this sheet of paper. Okay, so again, it's 6 3/4 inches by 10 inches, and you're going to score on the long side at 2 1/2 inches, and then at 7 1/2 inches. Okay, so 2 1/2 and 7 1/2 inches. And then this one again, you fold them up and you make it nice and crisp. And this one lays nice and flat, as you can see here. Just making sure that I have nice crisp lines. It's really important for a project like this to have really nice crisp lines. In the last bits here, I've cut the last piece of paper to 7 inches by 4 inches. Okay, so you need 2 pieces like this that are 4 inches by 7 inches, and you do not need to score this one at all. So now we are going to grab our pieces and assemble our album. You're going to start with your flat piece that we did, and then grab your 2 pieces where you have your little spines. Okay, so that's what we get started with next. So we're going to attach them together, and what I'm going to do is attach them but also make the little pockets that I initially showed you in the album. And this way you're going to get your spine, your first one with your spine, and as you can see the placement I have here, I'm making sure that each of the spines is facing one of the center folds. Okay, so that's kind of where you want to see it assembled. For the album I showed you, this one here, I made pockets in this spot where I'm going to show you how to attach them together. But you don't have to do that. You can just as well just glue both these pieces together and not make the pockets. But if you are going to make a pocket, this is also where you can use your little circle punch to make those little notches so that you, you know, when you piece the pieces together, you know that this is where your pockets are going to be. I'll try and put a picture in here so you know what I'm talking about with the pockets. And again, if you're not going to have pockets, then you're just gluing these two pieces together. So I am going to put in the notches for the pockets, and at this point I'm just eyeballing it. You could measure, of course, to make sure that you are right at the center. I know mine are not going to be because, like I said, I'm just kind of doing this for the tutorial. But if you wanted to make sure that you have them even and that they match both sides, you can just go ahead and, you know, make your, find your center line for both sides and then do that. So this is if you're making the pockets and you want the little notches. So now I'm going to just glue the right side together. So again, you're looking at the side where we have the spine, and then I'm going to be attaching these two together. And the way I do this is with the tacky glue. I do not like to use double-sided tape for pockets because I find that if you do that, then whatever items you're putting in the pocket gets stuck in a little bit of residue from the double-sided tape, but that's all up to you. Now, if you're not making pockets, you would just be completely filling this up with your double-sided tape or your glue, and then you're attaching them together. I will also leave a link in the description box below to my Amazon supplies, favorite supplies, just in case you're interested. I know a lot of you ask me, you know, what my favorite supplies are. And so I like to leave everything in one spot just so that you know the things that I like to use. Okay, so this is the first pocket done. I'm just making sure that it's going to be sticking together. The other thing I like to do is use some paper clips to kind of hold it down a little bit, because I find these pockets, especially because you're attaching two pieces together and then you've got the entire center that is not glued on because you're making the pockets, sometimes it makes it a little difficult to, you know, to stick if you're kind of playing with it too much. So I'm just going to be, you know, putting on a paper clip to keep them together for now, let it dry a little bit, and then we'll start the other side. So I'm going to repeat the process on the other side, and I'm just making the video go a little bit faster because we're doing the exact same thing except on the left side. So I'm making my pocket again with the glue, making sure that you have your spine facing your center base here, and then lining them up so that they meet each other. This is also why I like the glue, because you can kind of move things around a little bit if they're not, you know, even, or if there's like an edge that you're not perfectly lined up with. So here we go. We've got the second side done. Okay, so it should have dried enough to attach, and I'm just removing my paper clips. So now you'll see that it's all nicely attached. You've got your center little, I guess, doors, I'm going to call it, for lack of a better word, and then you've got it all nicely attached. So now we take this piece that we did that has the two spines to it, and this is going to be the base of our card. So you make sure that you grab your center and you add glue to the back of it. This is where you have to be careful if you're using a pattern paper to make yours, that you know, you've got the right side up and that you're actually attaching glue to the back side of your little system here of your base pages. And again, if you are using double-sided tape, this is also a good area to use it. But I will say that I again like the glue for this, the wet glue, because it's forgiving, and if you you know, you don't stick it in straight or you've gone over the lines, etc., it gives you time to move it around, just like I'm doing here, making sure that it's centered on either side and that I can fold my flaps over and it's not impeding on my fold lines, etc. So you see how that's attaching there. And again, I'm going to make sure that the glue dries properly, and I'm going to try and, you know, adhere all the sides of it, because this is basically your card base now attaching to itself. And you will notice that you've got a kind of like a border around the top and bottom of this, and you know, that's just so that it all fits nicely. And you see the top there's a little bit of a border up there, and then at the bottom, and that was just purposely done so you've got everything lined up nicely here. And then the next thing we're going to do is attach our actual cover pages to it. So this is the next step is you grab your two sides that we cut up that we did not score, and then we'll be adding them to our base flip album here as well. Okay, so this is the next step to add the last pieces to our little album. So you could attach them just like this to your fold out page, but we're going to make pockets. So again, it's similar process to what we did before. You'll be adding glue sort of in a U shape because we're trying to make pockets in the center. Again, if you wanted to add little notches to your pocket here, you could in the center, but I'm not going to do that for this one. I'm just going to glue it this way because you'll be able to see the pocket. Now, if you are going to be adding scrapbook paper to cover up your base, then you would need to cover that first. So you would need to cover up this this piece before you glue it on, or else you'll just have you know, the color that you're gluing on the back. I don't know if it makes sense. It'll just be this plain on your pocket, and you won't have your design. So if you're going to be adding any kind of scrapbook paper to this piece, you should do it now before you add it to your folio album to make your page or to make your pocket. Oh, and I will link below the lady that inspired this project. As I mentioned, I've seen so many different versions of this, but the one that I really liked was her name is Janie. I will leave a link to her channel below. I really liked her process. I think I've seen a few on Pinterest as well where you can make the pockets a little different, and then also the covers, you can do a lot of different things with them. But I really liked the way that she did it, and of course I you know, changed it a little bit for mine, but yeah, I wanted to mention that as well. Okay, so we've got our pages glued to the top, and now it's just a matter of adding your designer paper to decorate it, etc. The one thing that I had mentioned before is if you're going to be adding a closure, make sure you do that before you add your back cover to your album, because otherwise you're kind of, you know, adding your closure on top of what your finished product, and you may not like that. So just keep an eye. Just remember, I should say, that if you are adding a closure, you should be doing that before you add your scrapbook paper to, you know, cover up your design. And now you can see you've got every little pocket, tuck spot, flip, etc. here. Again, if you wanted to take a look at the full one that I finished before, I will link that video below so you can see where I have all my pockets and tuck spots and all those other fun things. So again, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Let me know if you make one. Tag me on my social media. Again, I have a blog for those of you that don't have social media. You can check it out there as well and leave comments. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up and click that notification bell so you know when I have a video coming up. Sometimes YouTube and the algorithms don't show you when we have videos, even if you are a subscriber. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the share. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.